Hello everybody, my name is mrseacoore. Welcome to some lore. So this is the Windbloom Festival that I've already recorded, and I'm just going to be going over Noelle today. And maybe Lisa if we have time. So let's go together on a journey, shall we? Alright, so here is Noelle, one of my favorite characters in Genshin Impact. She is playable, if you didn't know. Let's see. She is extremely strong and reliable. Noelle is considered to be the maid of all maids in the Knights of Favonius. With many thinking she has the ability to be everywhere at once, she is stubborn, however, and willing to unnecessarily endanger her life at any moment to help someone. She has tried many times to join the ranks of the Knights of Favonius to accomplish her dream of becoming a full-fledged knight. However, she has fallen short every time. One of the things about Noelle, as this statement piece is just like a little excerpt or just like a summary of her, it's extremely accurate because Noelle is, one, she is a very enduring character, and the lore about her really is centered around her becoming part of the Knights of Favonius. So we're going to go into the lore, which there is oh my god, that's a lot of lore. Well, let's go through that together then, shall we? So, here we go. The official website has the following description. Like most of Mondstadt's young people, Noelle always dreamed of being a Knight of Favonius when she grew up. She may not have had what it takes to be a knight just yet, but she is learning. Working as a maid at the Knight's headquarters, she is constantly taking notes on what constitutes knightly speech, knightly conduct, and knightly customs. She holds firm to her belief that one day she will join their ranks. She just needs to keep trying her hardest at everything she does. So that's just one of the excerpts from the website. There is quite a lot here. If you want to actually look at Noelle's personality, what the game says in the attributes and profile text page, it just says, a maid who faithfully serves the Knights of Favonius. She dreams of joining their ranks someday. You know, but that's there. But there's a lot more to it than that. Like I said, Noelle's a very endearing character. She's a very polite character as well. I think even in her hangout event, like, she was just polite the entire time. And of course, endearing. I can't think of another word for it in particular. But like I said, most of her lore is centered around helping those in need without hesitation. That's just kind of her thing. She has a very high standard of work ethic, as she always strives to ensure that everyone's needs are satisfied and always makes the effort to go over their expectations. No work is a problem for her, whereas Lisa believes that the more work she is given, the happier she is. So you can already see there's character interaction with just her personality alone. And there's quite a bit of it. I think there's at one point in the game, Paimon even says, just like, if you need help with something, just yell, Noelle! Out into the winds and she'll appear to help. And I'm pretty sure that's canon. It's just something that just happens. Let's see. Despite her work ethic, Noelle is relatively stubborn and inexperienced. She states that she is useless in an argument and simply does what she believes is best, regardless of the other party's advice. Likewise, her attempts to meet everyone's needs is double-edged. Although most people are genuine, others can take advantage of her generosity. Jean considers her to be eligible for the Knights, but refrains from knighting her because she is worried that Noelle isn't ready for what lies outside of Mondstadt. Now, that's actually really interesting because I think Noelle she's a great character, right? But Jean being like that to her shows, like, not only just how good Jean is at her job as the acting Grandmaster of the Knights, but how considerate she is of others as well. Because she doesn't want, she obviously sees Noelle as someone that's amazing and can do a lot of good, so she's waiting for the right time. Noelle looks up to all of the knights and asks them for advice on how to be a proper member when she officially joins, regardless of how much experience they have, such as Klee. Klee being the I throw bombs at things. Her aspiration of joining them means that she will refuse any other invitations offered to her. That's interesting. So we all know what Noelle's appearance is. She's a maid. She has 2 little roses on her gown, and she just looks amazing. She's fabulous, and no one can tell me otherwise. So let's see. What is this? Official introduction. So the first time that we meet Noelle outside of pulling her on the banner is a maid's job knows no bounds. Which, Kaya says this of her. Jean's job is definitely the most stressful, but Noelle's is by far the busiest. And so, you know, there's just kind of that. So that's the first time that we get to see her. So many people in Mondstadt think there's something magical about Noelle. She seems to be everywhere at once, and she'll do anything she sets her mind to. If it's a dinner party, a banquet, barbecue, Noelle is there. She can cook, she can clean, she can fight your enemies. That's Noelle in a nutshell. I'm rhyming today. I'm just good at this. Alright, so there are quite a bit of character stories. So Noelle has much greater dreams and ambitions other than maids and the Knights of Favonius. Like anyone else in the city protected by the Knights, she dreams of being honed, donning the honored armor. That's a tongue twister, isn't it? Alright, even if her skills are not enough to pass the rigorous selection trials, she still wishes to observe and learn from them every chance she gets. Aside from her training, she enjoys her current life, helping everyone in need. Her signature line is, "You can leave absolutely everything to me." Noelle is, like I said, her whole thing is centered around helping other people, and I think that's very admirable. Like, if there's any character that you want to look up to in this game, it's Noelle. Like, let's just be honest, she's amazing. So, your character's story, there's quite a bit of it. So, once you hit friendship level 2, you are going to get the following. Noelle is the maid of all maids to many. Such people also tend to say to her, she's everywhere. Again, it's just kind of repetitious on that quality. She's everywhere, she likes to help people, and she's the maid. She's the maid. There's not just a maid, it's the maid. For example, there was a child who once tried to get a plate during a banquet, but found that there was no way to open the cabinet without all of the plates falling out. The child screamed, "Noelle," and she appeared. She put the cabinet down on its back, took a plate out, and handed it to the child, reminding him not to have cold drinks immediately after having barbecue. Then she righted the cabinet, cleaned up the other plates, and put them back in order. Wow. Noelle's ability to be everywhere at once is something miraculous to me. However, the job of a maid is no myth nor legend. Noelle only does her job to the letter. No more, no more. No more, no less. As it should be, not as it should not be. Noelle doesn't think herself special, only that she thinks too much at times. Which I can definitely see that in her personality in general, that Noelle, she doesn't go above that minimum, she doesn't go like to a maximum requirement. She hits that minimum requirement, but she does it in such a finely executed way that it just kind of works. Like, even when she fights, she's not like Jean, where Jean can just fight no matter what and be self-sustaining. Noelle requires her shield to be self-sustaining. And although she can get her shield very easily, like, she does require that to seriously do that. So when you're thinking about Noelle, she will get a job done. If there's enemies that you need to fight, Noelle can fight them and she will beat them. Now, I'm not saying go into the Abyss with level 90 Noelle and just only use Noelle and beat the entire Abyss. No. That's a different story. Like, she can, like I said, she can beat all of the enemies, but it's just a different story as to how fast she can beat them. Noelle is, so this is what you're going to get when you get to friendship level 3 on Noelle. You get the character story number 2, which is Noelle is always eager to help, sometimes excessively so. If you were to ask her how to build a campfire as she passed by, she would not only stop and build the campfire, she would also put up the grill racks, season the food, cook it for you, taste it herself to make sure it's done, and remind you to put out the fire when you finish so as not to burn down the forest. And then she'd be going back to do whatever she was doing. Okay, so you know what I just said before I read that sentence, how she just only hits that bare minimum? I never said that. You have no proof that I said that, except for 2 minutes ago when I said that. And it's false. Noelle goes to this absolute maximum point of helping others, and she will cross it many times. Of course, most people don't mind that she regularly goes the extra mile, but it can sometimes produce unexpected results. For example, a merchant from Chesnaya once came to Mondstadt, ostensibly, that's a word, wishing to get into the winery business. In truth, he had an evil plot to ruin the land, destroy the winery business in Mondstadt altogether, and then seize the market with wines from Chesnaya. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this plot would have failed whether he was helped or not, because there's this person, I think his name is D-Luke, I'm pretty sure he's Batman, and I'm pretty sure he has so much wealth that he basically has a monopoly on on basically all alcohol in Mondstadt. There's only one other bar in Mondstadt, and it's called the Cat's Tail, which is the rival bar. And the only reason D-Luke keeps that open is probably because, if I had to guess, is because he needs to have the competition so that he's not looked at as like the sole monopoly, or the sole thing where you get drinks from. So he's kind of smart about it. Anyway. So the merchant from Chesnaya disguised themselves as an honest merchant with their family on a business trip to Mondstadt. Naturally, with them being visitors from afar, Noelle gave them a warm reception. Initially, the Chesnayan merchant was delighted with Noelle's hospitality. It was a cut above the crude etiquette he had come to expect from most peasants in Mondstadt. Right? However, after he began to feel that something was amiss, Noelle seemed to be able to read his mind. She correctly guessed his schedule, cooked his family's favorite Chesnayan dishes for them each day, and even knew that his daughter liked to go to bed hugging a rag doll presented her with a handmade doll she had sewn together herself? Bro? Oh my god, no, this is why I love Noelle. She's awesome. She's just awesome. This spooked the merchant and made him hesitant to execute the next phase of his plan. Noelle's warm smile now chilled the merchant to the bone. What else did she know? And what was she really planning? In the end, the merchant fled Mondstadt with his family. Noelle was upset for a few days, thinking she had somehow insulted her guest. Little did she know that all of Mondstadt was indebted to her for taking her job so seriously. That's insane. So, that just says to me that, like, Noelle kills with kindness. Like, the expression, kill you with kindness, that embodies Noelle. Like, it's such a unique quality to have in anyone. And like I said, if you want to look up to someone, look up to Noelle as a character. Noelle as a character is absolutely an idol that you should strive to be. Everyone should strive to be like Noelle, because you're treating others with such politeness and kindness, and you're going out of your way to help them at any means. Like, that's beautiful. Do unto others if they would have done unto you. That's a life lesson. That is a life lesson, and you should adhere to it. Alright, moving on. So, the third character story that you unlock after you hit friendship level 4, and you also have to do the quest Song of the Dragon and Freedom, if I'm reading that right. Most of the time, Noelle's reliability provides a comforting presence, but there are always exceptions. Once she learned that an adventurer was trapped on Dragonspine, so she decided to mount a rescue by herself. The snowstorm that day was so fierce that it wiped out any tracks humans left as soon as it was made. So you step in the snow, immediately covered up by more snow. So it's impossible to find a safe route. Like, that's the bottom line. So you can't find your way around, basically. Even so, despite that, Noelle persisted on searching for that adventurer and found him inside of a cave suffering from hypothermia. So, at the time, she was soaked because, you know, body heat works. It gets on your clothes and you melt it off of your clothes because that's how body heat works, and you just have to raise the ice and snow above 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. So, you know, that there you go, there's that part. So, this is what she did. Thirsty and hungry, Noelle still managed to carry the adventurer down the mountain on her back through the blizzard. Noelle saved them, but she overexerted herself, and she had to lay in bed for 3 days straight afterward, and she suffered with a high fever. So, after that, everyone in the Knights of Vonius slept out of concern for her during that period. Noelle recovered, of course, but it was not the first or second time that she had done something like that, and made everyone worry about her. So, again, that's just Noelle being absolutely amazing. In order to prevent Noelle from putting herself in harm's way again, though, Jean had to invent some safe jobs to keep Noelle busy. If something were to happen, then Kaya would have to save the day. Okay, now, I'm going to have to criticize Jean on this. Kaya is the cavalry captain, correct? Where are the horses? Where are the horses? What happened to them? Where are they? I wouldn't really trust Kaya to save the day, really, because Kaya has, like, a kind of backwards way of doing things. Like, if Kaya were to compliment someone, I guarantee you there would be some kind of backhanded compliment to it. Like, there would always be some little undercurrent of it. Or, you know, there's just a little bit of something there. But that's just Kaya in a nutshell. During the Storm Terror threat, Noelle was also eager to resolve the threat at its source. Kaya managed to arrange a few urgent matters for her to attend to, though, until that whole catastrophic event was over. So that just shows that Noelle is willing to go to any lengths to help somebody, which is absolutely incredible. The fourth character story, which you unlock at Friendship Level 5, is the following. So, Noelle's petite form does a good job at hiding her great strength. This does not just refer to her resoluteness or her indomitable spirit, but also her physical strength. So one time, Lisa accidentally dropped her apparatus under the bookshelf, and that's the little lantern thing that she has. So she dropped it under the bookshelf, and she was troubled with whether she could remain decent while bending over to retrieve it. I don't think that's something Lisa would worry about. That's Miss Mommy over there. We all like Tig Old Bitty Lisa. But anyway, Noelle made it over in the nick of time, lifting the full bookshelf with one hand. A bookshelf with books on it, not an empty bookshelf, a full bookshelf. Not a single book fell out between her lifting it and putting it down. Holy cow! Also, I'm gonna have to ask y'all outside. I don't know if my mic is picking that up. I'm gonna have to ask y'all yard workers outside too. Stop mowing outside of my window. Do you know what there is outside of my window? Bushes and dirt. There's no grass. Well, that's not a weed whacker. That's clearly a mower. Get out of my window. Leave. I hate them. I actually don't like them right now. I'm trying to... You're on the sidewalk! What are you mowing? I can see them out of my window! What are you mowing? There's nothing there! Okay, I'm gonna have to pause from lore for a moment. So, I don't know how many people live in apartments, right? I don't know the statistics or anything. But have you just lived in an apartment where the maintenance people or, you know, whoever does like the lawn work or whatever, and you just think they have no idea what they're doing at any point in time? That's how I feel. Every day I live here. My front door doesn't close properly. I don't know why. And if I call maintenance, they literally will come here and say, well, you just have to shut your door hard enough. I don't know what the problem is. Like, that's what would happen, and I know it is. Because I've had something similar happen before with the dishwasher already, where the dishwasher wouldn't open, like it wouldn't pop open the tab to let the soap come out. So they just came in and said, oh, you just have to, run it like this, and it'll work. It didn't. Like, we figured out what the problem was, but it's like, sometimes, man. Anyway, so Noelle lists a bookshelf full of books, blah, blah, blah. There was another incident where several cargo carts were attacked by, get out of my window! Sorry about that. Okay, we're back now. Yeah, they're gone now. I had to pause that. Alright, anyway. So, there was an incident where several carts that had some cargo on them were being attacked by pyro slimes, and they tried to pass through Mondstadt's side gate. So, the owners of the cargo were in a panic. And who came to their rescue? Who was the badass woman that shut that slimes down? It was Noelle. She hurled the carts and all the cargo into Cider Lake before leaping into the lake itself and retrieving every last one of them. So the pyro slimes had set all the stuff on fire. Noelle threw them in the lake and it was done. And she saved all the cargo. She is insane. And I absolutely love it. There's a rumor that when Noelle was studying the blade, the ways of the sword, she went to Wagner, who prided himself in his forging skills. Nobody likes Wagner. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Nobody likes him. He's just kind of rude, just being honest. So, he's kind of secluded. In all, he forged over 10 different swords with different alloy compositions for Noelle, but all would lose their edge after a few uses. At first, he thought that Noelle was unskilled, and he found that the problem was a little bit different than that. It wasn't that Noelle was the problem, it was more that the swords weren't strong enough for Noelle because Noelle's just that powerful. So there you go. Putting his reputation on the line, Wagner made Noelle a very heavy claymore that was reinforced by her affinity of Geo, because she does have a Geo vision. So it was after that her weapon was barely solved, her whole weapon issue. Don't worry, Noelle won't use her superhuman strength unless the situation calls for it, because she is a pacifist, which, again, that's another beautiful, beautiful thing. She only fights in self-defense or in the defense of others. That's amazing. That people do say, however, that the day Noelle received her custom-made claymore, she was set upon by a pair of drunken treasure hoarders in the Drunkard Gorge, who thought she was harmless. Let's just hope that no one else is as unlucky as they were. She probably turned their butts into faces and their faces into butts. Moving on, this is the 5th character story that you get at friendship level 6. Noelle's greatest enemy is not a person, but Ludi, her pastime itself. During her pastime, long tables arranged in a circular shape and filled with all kinds of food are set up in the plaza before the cathedral so everyone can enjoy it. So the food is prepared by volunteers, chefs, just pretty much anyone in Mondstadt, even visitors probably. So during this time, Noelle, she always holds herself to a really high standard, and she volunteers to serve and cook food pretty much continuously. Like, she just doesn't stop doing it. And it's not additional work. What's difficult is that she insists on tasting every dish to make sure they're up to snuff. Just think about that. This is a massive gathering where many people are just kind of here all throughout Mondstadt, and Noelle's just like, do-do-do, I'm gonna sample all the dishes, make sure they're good. So, from crispy moon pies, to pork chops, to towering pile-em-ups, all the fried and barbecue foods, equally parts delicious and fatty, are usually what's served. The smile on people's faces is what makes Noelle truly happy. What makes her less so is seeing her bulging belly. She can't help but let out a sigh. for the entire month following the festival, Noelle will volunteer for the Knights of Favonius' City Night Patrol. Favonius Cityus? Oh, kind of funny. So, the festival might be over, but her battle is only beginning. So, Noelle actually, that shows that Noelle does have, image issues. Because she wants to be fit. Like, she doesn't like seeing herself gain a lot of fat weight. She likes seeing her muscular and petite appearance. So, she really likes to keep her body, fit. Is basically what that says, which is actually really cute. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, the Warning of the Roses, which is another thing unlocked at Friendship Level 4. The Maids of the Knights have many red lines that are not to be crossed. And one of these is the personal information of the Knights must be kept in strict confidence. So, this doesn't just apply to restricting outsider access to information. It also applies to other members of the Knights of Favonius. So, an example is to be what Jean keeps in her private quarters, such as the vibrator that she has when she goes out into the night with D-Luke into their special sex dungeon. It also is the contents of Amber's Baron Bunny, gunpowder and bombs, the number of special eye patches that Kaya owns, a number of them, why would that matter? The number of Kalee's hidden bomb caches, all of those things are top secret. To avoid leaking such information, Noelle used red cloth to make a great many roses, and Mondstadt, this flower means my lips are sealed. So that's actually what the rose in her outfit means. In her outfit, she uses red cloth rose to show that her lips are sealed, that she will not reveal any information against her nation or about her nation that would go to someone else. That's actually really incredible. She specially wove one such rose into her gauntlet as an ever-present reminder to herself. Revealing secrets would be a major dereliction of duty for a maid, and anyone who aspires to be knights cannot afford any type of error like that. So, you can forget about probing Noelle for any secrets she won't tell. Yeah, that's just the dedication that Noelle has, that very few characters just have that kind of trait. Like, that's awesome. So this is going to be talking about her vision, and you get this at Friendship Level 6. Noelle did once wish to fulfill her dream before its time. Some years ago, after failing her 7th selection test, which was really a foregone conclusion, she felt somewhat discouraged. The etiquette, swordsmanship, the lines she had memorized, had they all gone to waste? She remembered all the strong points of every official knight, but who would remember the hard work of a failure like her? She had never stopped aspiring to become a Knight of Favonius, but her exhausted body wouldn't let her get back on her feet like she normally would. She felt like someone who had spent days and nights traveling through an icy tundra. At that moment, the main gate of the Knight's headquarters were flung open, and out walked acting Grandmaster Jean, who had just been in charge of the selection process. Without a thought, Noelle gave a precise knight's salute. Immediately, she knew that this was too abrupt a thing to do and wondered what Jean might think of her. But just as she was wishing that there was some hole she might crawl into to flee, Jean stopped in her tracks and returned the salute. After a moment's surprise, Noelle gave a strange smile, clumsy but pure. This was a lucky day that she would always remember, for she would receive recognition from 2 all-important sources from this day. Once from Jean, and the other from the gods, from the Archons themselves. Her hard work was remembered, and would forever be remembered, because from that moment forward, Noelle had a vision in her hand. And Noelle reaffirmed her belief that she would one day be able to don on the knight's armor, and that she would be gentle and reliable. And yes, everywhere at once as well. I love it. I love it. And this is really where Noelle's character comes into play, because she is rewarded for her hard work. She shows that by working hard, you are able to overcome anything, and you will receive a reward for it. And sometimes you have to push yourself to the brink where you don't think you can push yourself further. And then that one thing comes out, and you do go that extra step further, and you do it without even thinking. That's really how you reach greatness. I am a writer. I believe that I was born to be a writer. I am a rapper, but that requires writing. Like, I'm writing stories right now, and it comes so naturally to me, but I need to push myself to become better, construct more complex sentences, include more illusory words, like illusions, really give resemblance and meaning to what I'm writing. That's something that's incredibly important, and being able to push myself past that. When I think that I can't write anything more clever, I always seem to come up with something more, and I try. And yeah, it's not like Noelle. She's physically strong. She will physically go out of her way to do anything. So there are a lot of ways and forms that can take shape, but I'm just saying, for whatever you do as well, you can also reach that point. There's nothing that stops you from being able to reach greatness except yourself. So whatever you think that you can't do more, that you can't go further, always try to push past that barrier. Because as soon as you pass that barrier, you will enter that next level, that extra mile that you didn't think was possible. It's what separates masters from above average. Like, if you're a chess player, just keep pushing, keep practicing, keep studying. Do it. Repeat. Practice makes perfect. Actually make that work for you. If you love music, keep writing music. Keep listening to music. Listen to what you love. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anyone control what you want to listen to. Don't let anyone control what you want to do. Do what you love, because what you love is what's going to be what you can center your life around it someday. For Noelle, she wants to be a Knight of Favonius. She wants to protect people. She wants to help people. That's all she wants to do. Everything else doesn't matter, and nothing else would matter, because all that matters to Noelle is helping other people and being of service to others. And that's commendable. For me, I want to write stuff to make a difference in the world. That's all that matters to me. That and music. Music absolutely matters to me. And I think people listen to music. You don't just skim through it. Quote by Jay-Z. But, that's just the thing. Noelle's an absolutely amazing character, and I think a lot of people could definitely strive to be like that. So, but I'll just say it again. Nothing will stop you from reaching your goals except yourself. So don't stop yourself. Reach your goals and push. Don't ever stop pushing, because you're going to achieve greatness one day. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If they say otherwise, just prove them wrong. Prove them wrong and achieve those goals that you want. And so let's see, the name card that you get after you reach friendship level 10 with Noelle, it says that Noelle is quite special. She won't let any harm come to you. Her constellation is the Heart's Shield. And now we have a lot more things. So we do have a few character voiceovers talking about Noelle. So this is what Amber has to say. You want to know about Noelle? She's super resilient. Still, since she's younger than us, we should look out for her. Barbara says Noelle is just the cutest. She's so kind and patient. You just feel totally relaxed when you're around her. Oh yeah, and she makes the tastiest snacks. Best part is they're also healthy. Bennett says that Noelle's someone I've been watching for a while. She's really talented and extremely hardworking, but somehow she's still a maid. The Knights of Favonius still haven't made her a knight. It's a shame, don't you think? Boy, if she switched to the Adventurers Guild, she'd easily be one of the best there is. Benny is correct about that. What Jean says is that Noelle puts an enormous amount of effort into becoming a Knight of Favonius. However, I feel she's not quite ready for the dangers that lie beyond Mondstadt's walls. Kaya says that I was entrusted by the acting Grand Master to work in the background to support Noelle, but there hasn't been much for me to concern myself with. She has a really good head on her shoulders. Quite the relief. Lisa says every time I ask Noelle to dust off the bookshelves, I'm always left with the sense that the more exhausted I make her, the happier she's become. Yeah, who knows what's going on with her? And then she chuckles. What Sucrose says is that Noelle's a very willing helper. I can't deny that. It's just Noelle makes me a little anxious is all. One time she saw 3 boxes of materials stacked just outside the library door and proceeded to move them inside for me. A nice gesture, but the thing is, I'd only just finished putting them outside. That's actually kind of funny. The Traveler as Wonder Maid. This is what I was talking about, actually. This is when Paimon says, if you can't handle something yourself, you just need to shout the name Noelle into the skies. And so there you go. So we do have, but we also have letters from Noelle that we have gotten. What else do we have? Ah, yes, so the name Noelle actually means Christmas. It's typically given to children born around that time of year. Despite this, Noelle's birthday is in March. I believe it is today, the day that I'm recording this, and the day that this should be going up on my channel, which is actually why I recorded this today instead of Lisa. I wanted to do Lisa, but it's Noelle's birthday, and I absolutely love Noelle. So, yeah, there you go. So that's just one of the things. Her constellation, Parma Cordis, is roughly Latin for the heart's shield. So, absolutely beautiful. Just love that. So, let's see, blah blah, just looking at other stuff. Noelle is the first playable Geo character that does not create Geo constructs. And Noelle is seen wielding a Favonius Greatsword in her official art. So, you know, quite a lot of things. So, the Hangout events, we can actually go through that. Let's just go ahead and do that. So, the Chivalric... Wow, that's a way to jump around on the page. Alright, let's not load like that. Chivalric training is the first act in Noelle's Hangout event. In order to unlock this, you need to have 2 story keys, and you have to have completed the 3rd act of the prologue, Song of the Dragon, and Freedom. And you must be at least Adventure Rank 26. If you haven't met those requirements, you cannot do this. But this is a summary of that. So what happens is Noelle meets the Traveler in the library, and she asks them to guide her on her chivalry, or on her training, which is basically all the training that the Knights of Favonius go through. And the Traveler can choose one of 2 things. They can say, yes, it's okay not to be a knight, or you can ask her where she wants to start in her training. So when you assure Noelle that it's okay not to be a knight, it results in Noelle focusing on smaller tasks in Mondstadt. So then while going around Mondstadt, the Traveler and Noelle hear a man shouting for help. The man turns out to be Aloy? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he's just an NPC traveling merchant whose aim is to acquire some of Mondstadt's local wine and bring them back to Liyue. Noelle, being the hospitable angel that she is, escorts him from Mondstadt, gives him the food, drinks, souvenirs, helps him with his journey. Aloy becomes unsettled by Noelle's behavior, and depending on the Traveler's responses to each time that Aloy receives something from Noelle, he either breaks down and reveals to the Traveler that he's scheming to copy Dandelion wine and leaves, much to Noelle's disappointment, or he becomes grateful for Noelle's hospitality and promises to return to Mondstadt later and leaves without revealing his plan. Now, if you choose to listen to Noelle regarding her training, Noelle reveals that despite constantly being busy with her duties and physical exercise, she feels that she's lacking something. And the Traveler can tell her she's either lacking in strength or lacking in rest. Rest makes her uneasy. Strength she likes. So if you say that she's lacking in strength, you end up going to the training grounds, where Noelle shows just how strong she is. She can lift a bus and throw it through the side of a house. And by that I mean she destroys all the training dummies in less than 5 seconds. However, she laments that although she's confident in her strength, that she always loses to her opponent when training with the other knights. And the Traveler says that Noelle's lacking experience in real battles, or she lacks strength, just strength, period. So, saying that she lacks battle experience ends up in her going to the outskirts of Mondstadt to defeat series of opponents, which she could succeed or fail in depending on the player's actions. So, regardless of what happens, the Traveler advises her to choose her battles and value teamwork. So after that, they go by to a Hilichurl camp, and they save Henning, little NPC, much to their delight. And if the Traveler insists, however, that Noelle lacks strength, they go to a mining site, where they test her strength through mining. So, and when this happens, she goes to do it, monsters come out, a rockfall happens, and she defeats every single one of them and clears the path. So she gets rid of a rockfall and defeats all the enemies that happened during this time. And then, if you tell Noelle that she's lacking rest instead, what happens is you go to Good Hunter and you're approached by Beatrice, who's worried about Quinn ignoring her. And you bring Quinn's attention to Beatrice, and then the group decides to give him a gift. You can either choose grilled fish, or an item from With Wind Comes Glory. I don't know that one, but you give her grilled fish. Deciding to give Quinn the food results in Beatrice being rejected by Quinn due to the latter having a lack of appetite, Afterwards, Noelle goes back to the library to study books about love. If they decide to give Quinn an item from the store, Beatrice instead becomes worried about the location of her date. After traveling to multiple locations, Beatrice decides to have her date at Cape Oath. Noelle then gives a paper rose to the Traveler as a token of appreciation. And then I believe also in this quest is when you actually get to, unless I'm thinking of the next one in this, where you're laying beside that tree with Noelle on just a little mat. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that part of the event. I'll put the link to the website that I'm on in the description, so that if anyone wants to, they can read all of the lore and all of the good bits for themselves. Noelle has a lot of lore. Every character has a lot of lore that you can definitely go to. If you want to go to the voiceovers, there's quite a lot there as well. And when I say quite a lot, I mean you can spend about an hour doing that, and I will do this eventually in my games where, I just react to all of the voice lines that you can unlock with the character, and there is a lot. I'm not kidding. I'm scrolling down this list. There's at least 100 options as I'm scrolling. It's kind of crazy how much there is, and it doesn't just fit into the lore, it fits into a lot of other things as well. Right now, Noelle only has her default outfit. Eventually she probably will get another one, but that is what it is. So if you're looking for Noelle, there's a lot of things that you can do with her, and I'm talking competitively. She can work as a main source of DPS, she can work as support, she can really fit on any team, because she does mostly physical damage. She doesn't do a ton of geo damage. Her shield is amazing. You run defense on her once she hits C6. She's ridiculous. But yeah, so that's going to be all the lore that we go over today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be kind of speeding up the video to make sure that it fits this. If you did like this, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you would like to see videos similar to this one. And we're going to see all of you in the next video that we do. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Take care.